So, y'all, I just touched down in Wisconsin. We supposed to get here at like 6, but black people. So, we're gonna be reading Numbers 5 through 22. And I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to see comments or anything. I don't know if somebody's gonna join late, but I'm also gonna go live tomorrow morning. So, just keeping that, just letting y'all know that. So, we're gonna be reading Numbers 5 through 22 today. Wait, no, we're not. Did I read 5 through 22 yesterday? Oh no. Wait, what did I read yesterday? Oh, I read through 14. This is so odd. This says 8 to 14, and then it says 5 to 22. So I must be reading 15 to 22. There must be just missing the one. Okay. Boom. All right. So I'm going to pray real quick, then we're going to jump into it. Dear Lord, thank you so much for your blessing. Thank you so much for getting us here safely, Lord. And I just pray that you just be with us tonight as we go out. Lord, I pray that you be with me during this reading. Help me to ingest your word and to connect with the word as I've been doing the last couple of readings. And I pray that whoever watches this can feel your presence and just feel your spirit. In your name I pray. Amen. So this is off my phone. So I don't even know if you can hear me for real. Hold on. I wonder if I could check on my laptop. Because normally it's the opposite way around, but I brought a different laptop. So I need to know if y'all can for real hear me or not. Oh my gosh, it says sign in. Y'all know who I am. Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing. Oh my gosh, I gotta switch all over more. Sorry. This is all over the place, but it's okay because that's not the password I just made. If y'all hear music in the background, those are my friends. Also, just letting you know, I just want to make sure that this is working. Your channel live. Can you hear? Let's see if y'all can hear. Can you hear? Oh, just got my headphones connected. Oh, this is all over the place. This is all over the place. Okay, we can hear. All right, let's get into it. So, chapter 15 of Numbers. So this is the instructions about offering. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you have come to the land you are in to inhabit, which I am giving to you, and you make an offering by fire to the Lord, a burnt offering or a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a freewill offering, or on your appointed feast to make a sweet aroma for the Lord, from the herd of the flock, then he who presents the offering to the Lord shall present a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with 1/4 flour of hin and 1/4 a hin of wine. As a drink offering, you shall prepare with the burnt offering or the sacrifice or each lamb. Or for a ram, you shall prepare as a grain offering 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with 1/3 of a hin of oil. And as a drink offering, you shall offer 1/3 of a hin of wine as a sweet aroma to the Lord. And when you prepare a young bull as a burnt offering, or as a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a peace offering to the Lord, then shall be offered with the young bull a grain offering, or 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with a half hin of oil. And you shall bring as a drink offering a half hin of wine, as an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. Thus it shall be done for each young bull, for each ram, or for each lamb or young goat, according to the number that you prepare, that you shall do with everyone according to their number. All who are native born shall do these things in the manner as presenting an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. And if a stranger dwells with you, or whoever is among you throughout your generations, and will present an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord, just as you do, so shall he do. One ordinance shall be for you, the assembly, and for the stranger who dwells with you, an ordinance forever throughout your generations, as you are. So shall the stranger be before the Lord. One law and one custom shall be for you, and for the stranger who dwells with you. Again the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land to which I bring you, then it will be, when you eat of the bread of the land, that you shall offer up a heave offering to the Lord. You shall offer up a cake of Of the first of your ground meal as a heave offering of the threshing floor, so you shall offer it up. Of the first of your ground meal you shall give it to the Lord as a heave offering throughout your generations. Unintentional sins. If you sin unintentionally and do not observe all these commandments which the Lord has spoken to Moses, all that the Lord has commanded you by the hand of Moses from the day of the Lord gave commandment and onward throughout your generations, then it will be, if it is unintentionally committed without the knowledge of the congregation, that the whole congregation shall offer one bull as a burnt offering as a sweet aroma to the Lord with the grain offering and its drink offering according to the ordinance, and one kid of goats as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for the whole congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it was unintentional. They shall bring their offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord, and their sin offering before the Lord for their unintended sin. It shall be forgiven the whole congregation of the children of Israel and the stranger who dwells among them, because all the people did it unintentionally. And if a person sins unintentionally, then he shall bring a female goat in its first year as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for that person who sins unintentionally, when he sins unintentionally before the Lord, to make atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. You shall have one law for him who sins unintentionally, for him who was a native born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger who dwells among them. You really have to think of the humility that it takes to still, and the humbleness, I don't know if that's even the word, or even like meekness, to sacrifice even when you messed up on accident, to sacrifice when you mess up on accident. Like, there's so many times, even as like an athlete, where you like mess up or you miss a shot and somebody can yell at you and you just be like, I didn't even mean to do that. Why are you yelling at me? And it's really just like, with this, even if you sin on accident and not even knowing that you sin, like, there's some sins that we might not even know about because we're not like that far in the Bible, but like there's sins that we don't even know that we could be committing, and the Lord wants us to like still sacrifice and still feel like the burden of sinning. Presumptuous sins. But the person who does anything presumptuously, whether he is a native born or a stranger, that one who brings reproach on the Lord, he shall be cut off from among his people, because he has despised the word of the Lord and has broken his commandment. That person shall be completely cut off, and his guilt shall be upon him. Okay, so his guilt being upon him is also a punishment, because it says he shall be cut off, his guilt shall be upon him. So that means that once we sacrifice to the Lord and once we like really repent, we no longer bear guilt. Repentant equals not bearing guilt. To me, if this doesn't mean it to you, that's fine, but to me, that's what it means. A Sabbath violator is stoned. Now, while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. And those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation. They put him under guard because it not had been explained what should be done to him. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, the man must surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones outside of the camp. So as the Lord commanded Moses, all the congregation brought him outside of the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died. Fringes as a reminder. Again, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, tell them to make tassels on the corner of their garments throughout their generations, and put a blue thread in the tassels of the corner. And you shall have this tassel, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them, that you may not follow the harlotry to which your own heart and your own eyes are inclined, and that you may remember and do all of my commandments and be holy for your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. So that's chapter 15. So chapter 16. Korah leads a rebellion. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab and On, the sons of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, representatives of the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered together against Aaron and Moses and said to them, you take too much upon yourself, for all the congregation is holy, every one of them, the Lord is among them. Why do you exalt yourself above the assembly of the Lord? These are leaders. wow, these are leaders coming together to go against Moses. So, wow. So it's not like they didn't just see, Miriam and Aaron already tweaked out. They already had leprosy. They didn't see that. They coming together to come against Moses. This is why you can't be upset when people gather to and join to be against you, because even they did it first. Of course they did it to Jesus, but they're doing it to Moses right now, and we see God talks to Moses face to face. So this says Moses calls for a meeting. So when Moses heard it, he fell on his face and he spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, tomorrow morning the Lord will show who is holy, who is his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near him. That one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near him. Do this. Take censers, Korah, all of your company, put fire in them, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that man who the Lord chooses is the Holy One. You take too much upon yourselves, you sons of Levi. Then Moses said to Korah, hear now, you sons of Levi, is it a small thing to you that the God of Israel that has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you nearer to himself, to do the work of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to serve them, and that he has brought you near to himself, and you and all your brethren, the sons of Levi, with you? And are you seeking the priesthood also? Therefore, you and all your company are gathered against the Lord. What is Aaron that you complained against him? And Moses sent all. So what he's saying is, not only are you closer to the Lord, but you get to do the work of the tabernacle. These are the people that get to be in the holy place, and they're still gathering against him, which means they're gathering against the Lord, because the Lord chose him. And Moses sent all to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, we will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us out of the land flowing of milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you should keep acting like a prince over us? Moreover, you have not brought us into the land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of the fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. So not only are they not going to come up, but they're blaming him for not being able to go in the promised land, when it's truly all the other leaders who were scared to go into the promised land. Then Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey for them, nor have I hurt one of them. And Moses said to Korah, tomorrow you and all your company will present before the Lord, you and they, as well as Aaron. Let each take his censer and put incense in it, and each of you bring his censer before the Lord, 250 censers, both you and Aaron, each with his censer. So every man took his censer and put fire in it and laid incense in it, and stood at the door of the tabernacle in meeting with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all of their congregation against them at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the glory of the Lord appeared before the congregation. Korah's people are set apart. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, separate yourself from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. Then they fell on their faces and said, O God, the God of spirit of all flesh, shall one man sin and you be angry with all the congregation? So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moses rose and went to Dathan, Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, depart now from these tents of these wicked men, touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So they got away from all the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, and Dathan, even though that said that. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the doors of their tents with their wives, their sons, and their little children. You should be telling them to move around. Why would you bring them around them? And Moses said, by this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own. Let me read that again. Moses said, by this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works. The Lord sent me to do this. I didn't do this on my own. Moses would have been backed out. He didn't even want to lead these people no more. But the Lord has sent them to do this. For I have not done them on my own. If these men die naturally like all men, or if they are visited by common fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord creates a new thing, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive in the pit, then you will understand that these men have been rejected by the Lord. So Moses has such a good relationship with the Lord. He did not ask the Lord how he was going to consume them. He did not ask. He said, if the Lord does this, then this will happen. And the Lord heard it, and he said, Moses, you're my guy, and you're following me, so I'm going to make it happen. Moses did not ask. We have not read that. We have not read that God said what he's going to do. It says that the Lord spoke to Moses saying, tell the congregation to get away from their tents, and lest you be consumed by all their sins. It did not say how he's gonna consume them. Okay. The Lord can move off your. Oh my goodness. The Lord will move off your faith. Moses did not ask the Lord what he was going to do. Moses told them what the Lord was going to do, and then the Lord did it. Be for real. God's judgment falls. Now it came to pass as he finished speaking all the words that the ground split apart under them, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households and all the men of Korah with all of their goods. These men are so selfish because they knew, first of all, Moses just told all the congregation to move away. So that means that something's going to happen around here. And you stood out there with your wives and your children, and you didn't even send them away. Just selfish. So they and all those who went down, who were with them, went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from among the assembly. Then all Israel who were around them fled at their cry, for they said, let the earth swallow us up also. And a fire came down from the Lord and consumed 250 men who were offering incense. You got to be careful who you're standing behind. Be careful who you're supporting and standing behind. Be careful who you stand with. And that counts with the wives and the children too. Where they at? Still with their children. Let's make a little arrow. Boom. And the fire came down and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, tell Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, to pick up the censers out of the blaze, for they are holy, and scatter the fire some distance away. Then the censers of these men who sin against their own souls, let them be made into hammered plates as a covering for the altar. Because they presented them before the Lord. Therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign of the children of Israel. This is showing us, to me, that what is holy, no matter what somebody else does to it. So you can be defiled and still touch something holy, or you can still be wrong and touch something holy and it still be holy. Because God's items and things that were anointed by God and for God don't change. It's us that makes things change. But regardless of what we do, holy things are holy. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers, which were burnt up, which those who burnt up had presented, and they were hammered out as a covering on the altar, to be a memorial to the children of Israel, that no outsider who is not a descendant of Aaron shall come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he may not become like Korah and his companions, just as the Lord had said to him through Moses. A plague is stopped. On the next day, all the congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron. Here they go complaining, saying, you have killed the people of the Lord. They really blaming this man. And they're seeing what's going on. They're really blaming him. You have killed the people of the Lord. Now it happened when the congregation had gathered against Moses and Aaron that they turned towards the tabernacle of meeting, and suddenly the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle of meeting, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, get away from among the congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces. So Moses said to Aaron, take a censer and put a fire in it from the altar, and put incense on it. Take it quickly to the congregation and make atonement for them. For the wrath has gone out from the Lord. The plague has begun. Then Aaron took it as Moses commanded, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and already the plague had begun among the people. So he put the incense and made an atonement for the people, and he stood between the dead and the living, so the plague stopped. Now those who died in the plague were 14,700, besides those who died in the Korah incident. So Aaron returned to Moses at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, for the plague had stopped. The power that Moses and Aaron, but mostly Moses has right now, is really wild. If you look at it like this, the Lord sent a plague upon all the people because they were complaining, right? Moses told Aaron, take an incense and run into the congregation. So these people have died. I don't know how many people it was. These people had died, but he stood right here, so then these people wouldn't die from the plague. That's how powerful. That's how powerful. That's how powerful you can be when you're anointed by the Lord. That's how powerful you can be when you're anointed by the Lord. They're stopping the children of Israel from dying multiple times now. Several times they have stopped them from dying. But not only have they stopped them from dying, but they've stopped them from dying through praise and offering and asking the Lord. It's not like they're stopping them from giving money. They're stopping them through their relationship. The relationship that they have with the Lord is causing all of these miracles and things to happen. Wow, this is good. Chapter 17, Aaron's rod blossoms. So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and get them a rod from each of their father's house, all with the leaders according to their father's house, 12 rods. Write each man's name out on the rod, and you shall write Aaron's name out on the rod of Levi. For there shall be one rod at the head of each father's house. Then you shall place them in the tabernacle of meeting before the testimony where I will meet with you. And that shall be the rod of the man whom I choose to blossom. Thus I rid myself of the complaints of the children of Israel, which they make against you. So Moses spoke to the children of Israel and each of their leaders and gave him a rod apiece, for each leader according to their fathers' house, 12 rods, and the rod of Aaron was among their rods. And Moses placed the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of witness. So he's saying, everybody get a rod, and y'all put it down. Okay, that's what's going on. Now it came to pass on the next day that Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds, and had produced blossoms and yielded ripe almonds. Then Moses brought out all the rods from before the Lord and all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And the Lord said to Moses, bring Aaron's rod back before the testimony to be kept as a sign against the rebels, that you may put their complaints away from me, lest they die. Thus did Moses, just as the Lord commanded him. So he did. So the children of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, surely we will die, we perish, we will all perish. Whoever even comes near the tabernacle of the Lord must die. Shall we all utterly die? I want to be upset with them, but I know this is me. And I'm just nervous that I have gossiped about somebody who the Lord has anointed, and he is just not pleased, because the Lord is really not playing with them when it comes to Moses and Aaron. He's not playing with them. He done gave Miriam leprosy. He done had the ground swallow up the Kohathites and Dathan and the other tribes or whatever. He's not playing with them. We really got to be careful not to gossip about the Lord's people, because he's not playing with them. All right, chapter 18. We're in Numbers, by the way. Chapter 18. I can't see who's all on here because I'm on my phone, but hey, all three of y'all. Love y'all, my little audience. So, priestly privileges. Then the Lord spoke to Aaron and said, you and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity related to the sanctuary. You and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity associated with your priesthood. And also bring with you your brethren, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that may be joined with you and serve with you while you and your sons are before the tabernacle of witness. They shall attend to your needs and all the needs of the tabernacle. But they shall not come near the articles of the sanctuary and the altar, lest they die, and they and you also. Then they shall be joined with you and attend to the needs of the tabernacle of meeting, for all of the work of the tabernacle. But an outsider shall not come near you, and you shall attend to the duties of the sanctuary and the duties of the altar. And there may be no more wrath upon the children of Israel. Behold, I myself have taken your brethren, the Levites, from among the children of Israel. They are a gift to you, given by the Lord to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. Therefore, you and your sons with you shall attend your priesthood for everything at the altar and behind the veil. You shall serve. I will give your priesthood to you as a gift for your service, but the outsider who comes near shall be put to death. Offerings for the use of the priests. And the Lord spoke to Aaron, saying, here I myself have given you charge, my heave offerings, all the holy gifts of the children of Israel. I have given them as a portion to you and your sons as an ordinance forever. This shall be yours of the most holy things reserved from the fire, every offering of theirs, every grain offering, and every sin offering, and every trespass offering, which they render to me, shall be most holy for you and your sons. In the most holy place you shall eat it. Every male shall eat it, and it shall be holy to you. This is also yours, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them to you, your sons and daughters with you, as an ordinance forever. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. All of the best oil, all the best new wine, and the grain of their first fruits, which they offer to the Lord, I have given them to you. Whatever first ripe fruits is in their land, which they bring to the Lord, shall be yours. Everyone who is clean in your house may eat it. Every devoted thing in Israel shall be yours. Everything that opens its womb of all flesh, with which they bring to the Lord, which whether man or beast shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man you shall surely redeem, and the firstborn of unclean animals you shall surely redeem. And those redeem of the devoted things, that you shall redeem 1 month old, according to your valuation, for 5 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of a cow, the firstborn of a sheep, and the firstborn of a goat you shall not redeem. They are holy. You shall sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn their fat as an offering made by fire of a sweet aroma to the Lord. And their flesh shall be yours, just as a wave breast and just as a wave breast and the right thigh are yours. All the heave offerings of the holy things which are the children of Israel to offer to the Lord, I have given to you and your sons and daughters, as ordinance forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord with you and your descendants with you. Tithes and tenths of tithes. Then the Lord said to Aaron, you shall have no inheritance in their land, nor shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. Behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the work which they perform, the work of the tabernacle of meeting. Hereafter the children of Israel shall not come near the tabernacle of meeting, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall perform all the work of the tabernacle of meeting, and they shall bear the iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel that they shall have no inheritance. For the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as a heave offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. Therefore I have said to them, among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak thus to the Levites, and say to them, when you take from the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from this as your inheritance, then you shall offer up a heave offering of it to the Lord, and a tenth of the tithe, and your heave offering shall be reckoned to you as though it was a grain of the threshing floor in the fullness of the winepress. Thus you shall offer a heave offering to the Lord from all your tithes which you have received from the children of Israel, and you shall receive the Lord's heave offering from it to Aaron the priest. Of all of your gifts you shall offer up every heave offering due to the Lord for all the best of them, the consecrated part of them. Therefore you shall say to them, when you have lifted up the best of it, then the rest shall be accounted to the Levites as produce to the threshing floor and produce to the winepress. And you may eat it at any place, you and your households, for it is your reward for the work of the tabernacle of meeting. And you shall bear no sin because of it, because you have lifted up the best of it. But you shall not profane the holy gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die. Okay. I'm gonna read chapter 19, and then I'm gonna finish it here, and then I'm gonna read 21 and 22 along with tomorrow's reading tomorrow. I'm trying to do a small catch up because I'm behind a couple days, so I'm gonna finish with this chapter, which is chapter 19. Yeah, which is chapter 19. Or should I just finish all of 20? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to see where we stop at so I can know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to stop at 19 tonight. Okay. The ordinance of the red heifer. Now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, this is the ordinance of the law which the Lord has commanded, saying, speak to the children of Israel that they bring you a red heifer without blemish, in which there is no defect, and on which the yoke has never come. And you shall give it to Eleazar the priest, that he may take it outside of the camp, and it shall be slaughtered before them. And Eleazar the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger, and sprinkle some of its blood 7 times directly in front of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the heifer shall be burned in his sight, its hide, its flesh, its blood, and its offal shall be burned. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast them in the midst of the fire burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until evening. And the one who burns it shall wash his clothes in the water, bathe in water, and shall be unclean until evening. Then a man who is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and store them outside of the camp in a clean place. And they shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for the water of purification. It is for purifying from sin. And the one who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until evening. It shall be a statute forever to the children of Israel and to the stranger who dwells among them. using the heifer's ashes to purify. He who touches the dead body of anyone shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with water on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, and then he will be clean. But if he does not purify himself on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, he will not be clean. Whoever touches the body of anyone who has died, and whoever who does not purify himself defiles the tabernacle of the Lord. The person shall be cut off from Israel. He shall be unclean because of the water. The purification was not sprinkled on him. His uncleanliness is still on him. This is the law when a man dies in a tent. All who comes into a tent and all who are in a tent shall be unclean 7 days. And in every open vessel which has no cover fastened on it is unclean. Whoever is in the open field touches one who is slain by the sword, who has died, or a bone of a man or grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person they shall take some of the ashes to the heifer burnt for purification from sin. Running water shall be poured on them in a vessel. A clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in water, sprinkle it on the tent and all the vessels and one person who were there, or the person who touched the bone, the slain, the dead, or the grave. The clean person shall sprinkle the unclean on the 3rd day, on the 7th day, and on the 7th day he shall purify himself, wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and at evening he shall be clean. But the man who is unclean and who does not purify himself, that person shall be cut off from among the assembly, because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of purification has not been sprinkled on him. He is unclean. It shall be perpetual statute for them. He who sprinkles the water of purification shall wash his clothes, and he who touches the water of purification shall be unclean until evening. Whatever the unperson clean touches shall be unclean, and the person who touches it shall be unclean until evening. Oh, the next chapter, Miriam dies. Oh, I kind of want to read that, but that's going to be good to start off with tomorrow. We got Miriam dies, the journey continues. Victory, victory. The next reading going to be good. Okay, so I'm gonna stop at chapter 19. So I'm going to start chapter 20 tomorrow morning. That's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna start chapter 20 tomorrow morning because this is giving lit. It's giving lit. Okay, so I'm gonna pray real quick and then I'm gonna go, and then I am planning on, y'all. I am planning. Our tournament doesn't start till like 9. Like we don't have to leave here till 9, and I normally wake up like way earlier than that. So it would be real good if I could like read at like 7. So if you're an early bird, please join. If you're not, that's completely fine. And I'm also thinking about changing like what I say. Like, is it going to be at 5? Is it going to be at 6? Because stuff, I think, what should I commit to? What should I commit to? Can you be on at 7? Is 7 too early? 7:30 or 8? You comment what you want. Because we don't have to, we leave at like 9, I think. So I'm thinking if I get on at 7 or 7:30, that will work. So you just comment and you let me know. And that's the time that I'll get on in the morning, because I wake up pretty early. Like I have to be at work at 6. I'm giving you all my business. But anyway, just comment what time you would prefer for me to be on. I could do like 7:30. I could do it 8. And we'll read Numbers 20 to probably like 27. 7 words. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna get on at 7 a.m. And I'm going to schedule, I don't know how to schedule lives yet, but I'm going to try to schedule a live and make sure that you touch the note, like hit the notification so that you'll see me get on, and feel free to share. Tell them I'm going to get on at 7. You just confirmed it. So I'm going to pray for us, and then I'm going to go and let y'all have a good night. So, dear Lord, thank you so much for another day. Thank you so much for keeping me, Lord. Just keep us all safe, Lord. Help us to get to where we're going safely, God. And I just thank you for the reading of your word today. I'm grateful for the things that we learned today. And I just pray that you just be with us and let your word be in our hearts. In your name we pray. Amen.